Decentralizing movie industry funding, tokenization and DeFi. Mass education lays the road for mass adoption. What could be considered a better tool than docuseries? Tokenized docuseries. Moderated by Vasilisa Maranchuk, Center Blockchain de Catalunya, with Alex Hevia, Crossing the Yellow Blocks, Jose Alejandro Regoyo, co-creator and blockchain and tokenomics consultant, Alex Armengol, Crossing the Yellow Blocks, and Brock Pierce, SRAX.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Dubai. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today. And we're going to talk about decentralizing movie industry funding with tokenization and DeFi. And before we start the conversation itself, I would like our speakers to briefly introduce themselves. We have Alex, Brock, Alex, and Alex. So Brock can make a wish. So Alex, if you could just go first, just a brief introduction of.
Okay, my name is Alex Hevia. I'm a film producer. We are based in Andorra, and we started this project a few years ago, and in the beginning of 2019, and here we are.
Welcome. Brock, please.
I'll just focus on my media background, and so I grew up as an actor, starting to work at the age of 3. Eventually started making movies by the age of 10. My first film was The Mighty Ducks, where I played young Gordon Bombay or Emilio Estevez, the triple deke that gave birth to the Ducks. I eventually starred in movies like First Kid at 14, where I played the son of the President of the United States of America, with Sinbad as my Secret Service agent, with Bill Clinton and Sonny Bono having cameos. At 16, at the height of my acting career, I quit to start my first company back in 1997. It was called DEN, or Digital Entertainment Network. We raised $88 million from NBC, Terry Semel, who was chairman and CEO of Warner Brothers at the time, David Geffen, whole host of people. And we were what you would think of as YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and we were kind of pioneering how media would be distributed over the web. We were too early. Broadband penetration did not roll out at the rate that people forecast. And so in the spring of 2000, when the bubble burst, like 99 out of 100, we failed, and I went into games. I've come back into entertainment more recently. I've been focused the last 3-4 years on how these alternative forms of funding coming from ICOs and STOs and DeFi may affect media. You know, it's like coming full circle in my life, going back to the root. And I believe that we are going to democratize the entertainment industry and allow content that the world is hungry for and otherwise would not be created, will be created because of the work that we're collectively doing here.
Thank you, Brock.
My turn. I'm another Alex. I'm also based in Andorra. I am developing blockchain stuff, blockchain products for sometimes, and now I am involved as an actor in this docuseries because I believe, you know, it's one of the best things I found to make sure the mass adoption, as Brock Pierce all the time says in his speech, it's the best option I found to reach this level of mass adoption that people who has been in crypto for years find as a chimera, you know. And I prefer to not go longer in my introduction, so we can go deeper into the crossing the yellow blocks stuff. So thank you.
So hello, my name is Alex Armengol. I'm also from Andorra, this tiny country in between France and Spain. And there, well, my role was basically to start up the Andorran Blockchain Association. We have 5 banks in Andorra, so we have the 5 CEOs, and I'm the new kid on the block. Let's say it this way. Going to our purpose, and the purpose is massive adoption also. In fact, massive adoption is in our purpose. My role inside is my job, which is disruptive innovator, and being disruptive innovator, I have to be always out of the box, no? And in that case, I'm going to tell you that I don't know nothing about blockchain technology. Worse than that, I don't want to know about blockchain technology, because for me, blockchain, it's basically, well, what is blockchain for me is basically the point where we see trust, no? And in this trust going, and how the blockchain space is going, we can see that everything is very technological, no? And in that phase, what we want to do when we speak about technology is like when we were speaking about cars. I'm not a car producer. I'm not a mechanic. I want to be a pilot of this blockchain, no? So in that purpose, I met, of course, Alex Hevia, who had this brilliant idea to go on massive VODs. And in that sense, we started the project and invested on it, and here we are, happy to present it.
Thank you very much, Alex. And my name is Vasilisa Marinchuk, as it was already on the screens. I am the founding member and the Director of International Relations of Centre Blockchain of Catalonia. And the idea of the center, the goal and main purpose of its existence is actually the adoption of the technology. That's why we do it, and that's why I'm so happy to lead this panel today. And I know that everybody in this room probably, people on the stage, here we all know about blockchain, crypto, about all this beautiful technology, but we go out on the street, we take people from the street and we ask them, what is blockchain? Most of the people will say that they never heard the word. In the best case scenario, they will tell you, oh, I heard something about Bitcoin, and this is very sad. And already for many years, and I know that Brock was preaching for that as well as all of the panelists here, we were trying to educate people. And I think that when we're talking about art, especially the pop art like movies, which everybody watching one way or another, that's the way to start. And I would like, Alex, basically you're the person from the movie industry. You didn't know at some point about anything about blockchain, but now you adopted it, you embraced it, and I think you actually got rewarded for that. So if you can tell us the story, how everything started. Okay, sure.
I always think it was a funny story, because I wasn't really on the space at the time that I get in contact. I heard something about Bitcoin and blockchain, etc. But one day, my partner Alex invited me to after work, and the topic was blockchain. From zero, to make the long story short, from 0 to 100, we were developing and putting a group of people to work to regulate our country for blockchain. And at that moment, I realized that the same thing that you just mentioned. And I like to say it like this. I mean, inside this world, we all know about blockchain. But it was really something outside, the people is outside has no clue about it. So I thought that I can use what my profession, my knowledge, to develop something to create or to create awareness on the massive public. So that was, let's say, the first beginning of this idea. So we can put it on the massive, on video on demand platforms, and that will allow people to get close to something that they have no knowledge at all.
Right, so this is exactly how you started. And then I think, Alex, because you were one of the founders and CEOs of the Association of Andorra, Blockchain Association of Andorra, right? So you supported his project a lot. Because, I would like to understand what was your motivation there.
Sorry, you want to understand, sorry?
Your motivation behind, because motivation. Motivation.
No, thank you. Yes. So the motivation was we were creating this association, which now is the association in Andorra and blockchain. And in that association, of course, we tried to professionalize, even though it's volunteer, we tried to professionalize as much. And we started with communication. And we see from very early that really here, what was our role was to communicate, no? And of course, this project was really perfect because our forecast is not keep that in a little room, but keep that all over the world, no? And in that sense, we rapidly thought, let's try to make a movie and let's go for it, no? And in that sense, not only that, and also entering perhaps a little bit into the topic of massive adoption, no? How we gonna do that, no? And me as disruptive innovator, my target is always the non-user, no? So let's explain that to the people, and going around through the congresses in the world, no, which Alex done with his film, no, you see that the blockchain space speaks very technically, and the words are very technical. You know, if we think about when we were writing letters and the stamp, no, the format of the letter and the stamp were very limited. You can write, you can draw, you can even put some perfume on it, no? But imagine the email, which is the disruptor of this letter, no? How many functions have on it, no? And of course, you need a lot of technical words for that. But if you go into these non-users, which are our target, you're speaking about 95, 98% of the people of the world, and they don't need to understand really the technology. In fact, when internet came, who knows about HTTPS or these kind of words? And now it's the words we're using in all of this Congress. Now, when we try to speak that to people, it's really very complex. Which is the best way? It's take the traditional industry words and put them so that they can understand that. And that's basically the job we've done.
Awesome, thank you. Well, in the first, the first season, we have two stars, Brock and Alex, who were the first actors who participated in the project. Guys, I mean, what was your experience? Why you think it was important to be on that docuseries? Brock, if you can start.
Well, I think I'll just share or reiterate a consistent point here. And how is it, that we reach mass adoption? How do we introduce this technology, this future to the masses? And as has been stated, it's not going to be in techno Greek. It's going to be in a language and a medium that the masses can understand. And the media is one of the most effective ways to communicate a message and popularize it, which is in showing people what its benefits are. People don't need to understand, as was stated, how the technology works. They need to understand how it's going to impact their lives.
Very much.
And you want to present that message, in a format that is easy to consume, that tastes good, that leaves them wanting more, because in the future, you're going to need some training. You have to reach people in a way that you trigger their inherent curiosity. Once you've triggered that curiosity button and shown people why this is going to impact them, why it matters to them, and how it's going to impact others, so that they understand the significance of what we're doing here. This isn't just about making money. This is about building a new world, a more equitable world. And how we do that in a way that you understand yourself, and broadly how it impacts others. But again, in a medium that works. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
My experience started when Alex called me first to film my part, to record my part in Andorra, speaking about Venezuela, crypto, and so on. And months after this, he called me again and said me, I want to tokenize all the milliseconds of the docuseries. So I said, oh shit, and you need a lot of time for this. And again, after months, he sent me an awesome white paper and awesome stuff, and this is when I decided to jump in the docuseries and push with all my effort, because it has its own tokenization inside. So you don't need to explain how blockchain works only with the docuseries. Also, the funding system that funds the docuseries itself, it's also a way to explain why blockchain works. So this docuseries explains how blockchain works in two ways, for holders and for crypto people, and also for non-crypto people. And this is probably the key point when I decide to jump and say, Alex, okay, you have all my support to do whatever you need in blockchain terms. And from this point, we started to help. It was a very good product, and we started to put a ledger, a blockchain ledger behind the docuseries. So right now, you can find an interesting product if you know perfectly about Solidity, blockchain, and so on, and if you have no idea and you find the docuseries right now in Google Play or Apple TV Plus, it will be same as funny. You know or you don't know about blockchain. This was my experience, just summarized very quickly.
Thank you. Well, from what I learned about the project, the Crossing Yellow Blocks, what are you guys doing? It seems to me, and you may correct me, Alex, that you're trying to encourage all the crypto community who are already in, and then to educate within the docuseries by tokenizing your project for these outsiders, let's say, to come in, to learn, to get curious, as Brock was saying, to trigger them a little bit. So is that correct?
Yes. Well, in the beginning, we didn't have this tokenization, as Alice just explained. We didn't have the tokenization on front. We just started the project with our own phones, etc. And at one moment, when you get close to this ecosystem, the media, then you realize there is a way to make something that I was searching for a while, because I've been in 25 years in the industry. And if you all here are aware, film industry is in the side of establishment or incumbent, whatever, and we're trying to democratize that industry. So I was trying to search something that it works to create that bridge in between this world and the world that is outside. And I found it being able to tokenize and being able to deliver their awareness. Because one thing is educating people, sharing, creating community. And another way is a good example, just, okay, this could happen through this technology or this way of working in the centralized world, et cetera, et cetera. So that was, I think that it just came naturally during the process of the shooting, or during the over 2 years that we were filming around the world.
And what is the role of the DeFi in the project?
Decentralization.
So basically, you're selling your token across the DeFi applications, or how does that part work?
Well, the token is available on the DeFi market, for sure. So anyone who is willing to buy it can buy it. But also, on the other hand, also is the way to create, let's say, to give the community, because everything is about community here, the opportunity to decide or to contribute in whatever it is on the documentary. So we're talking about decentralization, we're talking about community, so let's put the community, let's give the tool to the community to be part of it, to also explain why they think they have to be explained it. Because as I said, in here, we all have the same, let's say, conversation, but a lot of different use cases and a lot of the different people want things to be explained outside of the doors. And through this tokenization, through this way of working, we allow that to happen. And that will give also at the same time much bigger and much stronger awareness through the documentary.
And your actors or projects who are actually participating in the project, and it's probably a question to everybody. You guys also participate in the token sale somehow, so do you support the project in monetary way? Because we have the investor here as well, with Alex, well, in the back, in the cap, but you guys as well, like Alex and Brock, I mean, because everything happens on the blockchain, do you support that part?
Actually, I don't think the token is the most important part of the docuseries itself. It's the smart contracts who makes all the logic to buy and sell all the package in Uniswap and so on. So yes, Alex is releasing the public sale actually in a couple of weeks. But anyway, the thing that disrupts how the film industry works is not the token, it's the dApp, because you know, anyone can release any token in 5 minutes, but to be able to make sure a dApp can be able to be working for this project, but also to be scalable to other projects, is the key part, you know. All right. You can make a token in 5 minutes, but you cannot make a logic to fundraise in film industry in 5 minutes. So this is why I would like to focus not only here, but anyone who focuses in this project and like the token, that make sure that this token is the token of a platform. And the very important and the disruptive thing of all this stuff is the platform itself, because it can work with any token.
Yeah, sure.
No, just can agree, you know, and disruptively speaking, in fact, what we do, when we disrupt, we evolutionize, no? Brock, you told about decentralization, no? So how we can do that and fast and well, no? At the end, it's cooperating, and that's the purpose also of this film. Let's take the good actors from all around the world that can tell us these things, no? But in fact, it's putting bridges between, for instance, in ourselves, is a new way of funding the industry, no? And disruptions, what happens? That disruptions are 10 times less costly and 10 times more efficient, and that's blockchain, no? But if we take blockchain in the technological part, of course, we are in the 4th industrial revolution, the high-tech one. But there we have another bridge. If we take blockchain not as a technology, but as what it's doing, which is trust, we jump from the 4th industrial revolution, which is the high-tech, to the 5th industrial revolution, which is the philosophical. We come back to the people. We try to be more good with the people, no? And how we do that? With trust. What is blockchain? Blockchain is the trust industrialization, where before we needed middleman that could be that could have a lot of fails. Now the high tech brings us a way to bring more trust in the world, and that's the important message. I think as blockchain space we have to do. We have to cross over this. Let's go and win a lot of money. And in fact, it's what he's doing and what just Alex Rego explained. No, the important thing here on what we do, it's this community. It's we grow up all together, and that's the bridges we have to put on. Yeah.
I agree with you very much. I mean, the community here is the key in general. And I think what you guys doing is amazing, because we need to educate, we need to knock the minds and hearts of people somehow, and docuseries is amazing. And we're going to have a trailer at the end of this panel, which is unfortunately should have been in the beginning, but technical issues. Anyways, but how do you think, like, still, I mean, I would like us to be a little bit more imaginative right now, while we still have some time. Docuseries is one part. And mass adoption is starting with education. But we are also talking about movie industry in general, right? And funding it and disrupting this industry as many other industries, because we're already in supply chain, in voting, and everywhere. Blockchain is going its ways everywhere. It's like a spider in a good way. So there are like armies of fans of different series, movies, franchises, and stuff. Like, I don't know how many here in this room like Star Wars or Marvel or whatever. And imagine that people who have never heard about blockchain, but they're real fans of their favorite movies, favorite series, and they want to participate, they want to invest in that, they want to take decisions. So we immediately talk about tokenization and DAO and DeFi and everything. But how ready is the industry to embrace that? How ready is the industry to decentralize, to democratize its funding for itself? And maybe so many projects can just flourish around that just because their fans will be able to participate from the very beginning and actually be partially owners of the future project.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. In our case now, we just take the first step, which is create the utility to allow that people to participate in the ecosystem, to participate and decide what is topics that have to be treated on the following episodes, what contents will be more interesting or more adapted for the non-users to explain it in a clear way. But on the other hand, we also got, you know, this part that you mentioned, having a portion. Then you go in a different format of tokenization, as you're aware. You go into the STO.
Correct.
That is a natural next step in our umbrella, in our project. Now we just get, this is blockchain. The docuseries is for this. The intention is create awareness, and because if you don't have the knowledge, you cannot have a massive adoption. That's obvious. So we take it slow. We take it, okay, this, first our ecosystem can participate, and then we have the roadmap already to create a real founding systema that it will bridge the two worlds. I mean, if you want to democratize something, as I was saying, Brock, a few minutes ago, you have to create bridges. And this is what we're doing. This is the first step to create the bridge.
Well, I think it's a very good foundation, first of all. I mean, like you're building the house from the foundation, not from the roof. So.
Exactly.
Brock, yeah.
Well, just to add how the film industry has evolved. Basically, the film studios effectively greenlight all of the major motion pictures. And they've become more and more risk averse over time. And they're typically owning the IP and then hiring, you know, the writers and the people to come in, but under a studio controlled structure. And it's constricting, choking sort of real creativity, because you're sub-$100 million films, your films that, you know, used to be your great movies that didn't have special effects but had compelling stories, you know, that were teaching us about the roads to redemptions and redemption and our moral obligations and responsibilities and the things that better prepare us as people to be in service, you know, to the world. Those films are not really being financed, because it doesn't really fit into the studio financial structure. It's considered to be too high risk. And then you go down to the documentary sort of world. You know, that's a really tough business. And, you know, financing and how these projects get financed. Clearly around IP, there's big fan bases that would love to participate in these things, and the studios won't even have a problem with that. The studios have two functions. They finance, you know, the movies they effectively own, which is really sequels, tentpole projects at this point, and remakes. But they're also distribution channels. And the studios would be happy to be rid of the financial risk of being the financing and rather just get paid as a distribution. So this isn't even really completely at odds. You know, they own the stuff they're comfortable with, and they would like, I believe, other channels of finance to leverage their pipes and monetize their pipes more effectively, and that can be done on the next layer down. Documentaries as well. Remember, there are plenty of people that will crowdfund and put money into Kickstarter and put money into token offerings and all of these things, where even a financial return is not the objective. Some people just want to see something made.
Right.
Because there's a message they believe needs to get out in the world. And they're not alone in that wish, that desire to deliver that message. And so I believe that this is going to unlock a tremendous amount of content that's going to be created to deliver important messages to the world, again, through the mediums by which and channels they wish to be reached. So I'm a huge advocate for this. I started my life as an actor and in the entertainment business. It seems fitting that I would come back to disrupt it.
Thank you. Guys, we are a little bit out of time, so before I will offer everyone to do your closing remarks, I would like to ask to put the trailer on.
Do you know what blockchain is? Yes.
I know it's something with coding, but
Let that money talk.
Blockchain means open source data.
One of the first major attempts to give power back to the people.
I think we'll have flying cars before we have blockchain.
You could be safe, but the only people that could be safe.
The fall of...
Yeah, you got the video down here, but not up there.
This is not the docuseries.
Well, I mean, welcome to being an entrepreneur and building an industry. Technical difficulties come with the territory.
Well, guys, I mean,
Daily
while
lives, huh?
while we are waiting
The struggle
for...
is real. If anyone told you this would be easy, guess again.
He was
yes,
wrong.
we are here.
Welcome to our life.
Do you know what blockchain is? Yes.
I know it's something with coding, but
Let that money talk.
Blockchain means open source data.
One of the first major attempts to give power back to the people.
I think we'll have flying cars before we have blockchain.
You could be safe, but the only people that could be safe.
The fall of Lehman Brothers is going bang.
What we need an alternative financial infrastructure.
Create trust out of a trustless environment.
You take the trust out of the system, eliminate completely the middleman.
It seems to be extremely speculative right now, so...
This is not about giving you the things that you have. It's about giving you things that you can have otherwise. And that is huge.
Well, that's a really great piece of art, I would say. Honestly, the shots are very nice. And I would just welcome and will invite everyone to share with your friends who has no idea of blockchain. I think they have to go and watch that. Guys, well, we're almost out of time, but for closing remarks, just few words, 3 ideas you want our audience to take from this panel. Alex, Brock, Alex, please take the words.
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting us here to present this project that has been running for a while already. Just briefly, the main thing behind this is if we can create this new way for the entertainment, a way to communicate, a way to put these 2 words together in this place and outside, that will be probably the most beautiful thing. I mean, we'll improve other people's life, I guess. I think this is the most important thing. We're trying to improve other people's life with whatever we do in here in this ecosystem. So we will do our best on our side through this documentary and many more projects that we will deliver to the market in the same way.
Thank you. Brock?
Well, the future is going to happen to you or with you. So get involved and let's co-create a future, a world that we all want to live in. We're all unique and we all have our unique parts to play. So let's play and build a better world. Thank you.
So picking this Brock's line of speech, one of the first projects I get involved with as a Bitcoin Anonymous developer was called something like Satoshi Plays, where it was a very single community driven, where people can buy a pixel with Lightning Network or Bitcoin, so they can buy a play. Actually, this is exactly like this, but in an enormous top-tier film industry. So I was actually hope to see this happening again, because this is probably one of the best community-driven efforts that can be made. Because, guys, this is not about fundraising and about money. This is about people who see the chapters joining the script of the next chapters. So I guess and I hope this becomes this all Satoshi Plays, but in Google Play, Amazon, Netflix, and so on. So people in crypto start making decisions of what's next in the next chapter. So all the efforts that we made wasting time in creating these Satoshi Plays and all these crazy things, like people paying to feed chicken with Lightning Network, all this kind of stuff years ago, this can be an endpoint of all of these, where crypto community decides about the docuseries, about the crypto community. So I really hope this happens. Obviously, this is not a very single thing. It's not just a frame with pixels. It's a thing that is working and scripting, several people scripting, producing, post-producing. But let's see, I really hope to see this to get very well involved in crypto community, because it has a very crypto market fit in terms of people love to decide in crypto. People love community-driven things in crypto. You know how it works. If people decide that this thing should explain exactly what is going on in blockchain and in Bitcoin and in crypto in general, this film is going to be viral as everything that crypto community likes, right?
Thank you. Alex?
So talking about Satoshi, let me make an announcement. I just have to tell that one of the pioneers of blockchain is Andorra. In Andorra, very long time ago, it was on the 16th century. And you say, how did you do that? I just explained that because it's a proof which is coming, and it's a spoiler of the movie. The establishment of the film industry is going to kill me, of course, because I'm doing a spoiler, no? But in that point, it's really the exact example that non-users, people that don't know nothing, can understand very well. In the Parliament of Andorra in the 1580, the 7 regions of Andorra had the problem that they were not trusting in between them. So what was their solution for that? They bought up a cabinet where they put it up 7 locks. And if the master of each region was not there, the cabinet could not be opened. So they needed the 7 representatives of the parishes, the regions are called parishes, were there. And when the 7 guys were there, the cabinet could be opened and put the important papers of the Parliament of Andorra. No? And this is a very simple way to then understand that now all this, of course, has evolved, and now we have it in disruptive technology. So it's fantastic in that sense. So thank you very much, and hope to see you on your TVs.
Thank you very much, everybody. I would say just 2 words from my side. Adoption is key right now. We need to bring masses to this world to help us build a better world, a more free one. We proudly call ourselves a community. And honestly, from the very first days when I entered the blockchain space, I felt this like embracing environment. But it's still our personal responsibility of what's going to happen here. And we have to go and preach for that. We have to go and do something about it, talk to people, educate people, making movies, making songs, I don't know, making NFTs, trying to help others to embrace the technology, understand it, and understand its value for them personally, what it can do for them personally. So thank you very much for being with me today. Thank you, Dubai, and bye.
Thank you.